Hey guys! So today you and I are going to talk about cost. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Fredrik, how come some of these IT companies are valued at millions and billions and so forth? How can a website possibly be worth so much money? Or it's just code, right? And the short answer is that yes, it is just code. It's just that the process of creating that code and the earning potential of that code is so high that it actually is valued at those types of amounts. So you can think of it pretty much as stating that political influence has no monetary value. If I paid you, let's say for the sake of argument, if I were to be able to pay the leader of your country a certain amount of bribe or something like that, and have that person legislate some law in my favor so that my business basically became the only game in town, then the earnings that I would gain from paying that person would vastly outweigh the cost of me paying that person, even though it's not really, I'm not actually getting a physical thing back. I'm just getting a construct, and I'm just paying to get a situation where I can maximize my earning capacity. And the same thing goes for websites. It's just like the code that you write, although it's not something that you can really, I mean, you can't sell source code all really, you can't really do that. And these larger systems, if you were to lose that source code or it were to be destroyed in some fashion, you would pretty much lose your entire business. I mean, assuming of course you don't have backups and stuff like that. And even the source code itself isn't always all that nice. These big systems, they have tons of bugs and they have tons of other issues and so forth, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that the features that you have developed are in some fashion creating a situation where people are willing to pay you for that work. Not necessarily that you just created it, but rather for the value that this brings. An example would be Facebook. So Facebook has really owned, like when it started out, it wasn't really designed for the sort of scale that you see today. It grew into that sort of scale, and it was only until the very late stages in the company's development where they actually figured out how to monetize this in any way. It's actually funny because in IT, it's actually not that common that, and this is a very, very big problem and a whole different sort of discussion, but it's not that common that you will make a profit from your company, even if it's a very popular company. Facebook is an example of such a company. Spotify is an example of such a company. And the reason why you don't really make any money is because of this basic idea this subscriber is touching on, that we have been conditioned to believe that software is costless, that it is something that should be for free. And that's another video talking about where we got that from. And the consequences of this is that if you are a business person of some sort, you have to pretty much create something that is extremely popular, extremely valuable to a lot of people, that they are willing to get on their phones or their laptops, and they're going to start visiting. And then you have to figure out how you can monetize that in some fashion. Facebook did it through ads and so forth, which is a very common thing. It's the same thing that Google does. And one of the reasons why Amazon is so successful is that they are actually selling physical goods. They're actually a store where they can actually monetize things in a different way. They still, of course, monetize in other ways as well, but for the most part, IT companies don't have that option, because not all very few IT companies, very successful ones, are selling a physical good. They're just a platform, or as I said with the country's leader, they're just creating a situation where people can make money, or they have some convenience or something like that that allows you to potentially earn a lot of money. And this is why these sites are so valuable, because if I can give you, as let's say for the sake of argument, that I could give you a situation where I can guarantee you that if you pay me, I will make sure that you get more traffic towards your website. that is what Google does. That's literally the thing that they will give you. You can, because of their system, the search engine, although it is free, they have created a situation where they control pretty much your exposure to pretty much every customer. The discovery of your company can happen in two ways, pretty much. Either through you posting ads on some already existing website somewhere, or you ranking fairly high on the keywords when you search for whatever topic or whatever category you fall into. So this is why these systems are so valuable. They are not valuable because the cost of development, even though the cost of development is often fairly high, you don't have any physical goods, so you're not actually requiring any type of construction material necessarily, but the value that they produce is so high that the website itself becomes as valuable. It's not the parts of the system that is valuable, it is what the system offers that is valuable. So what I want you to take away from this is that the reason why you see these outlandish sums that these companies are evaluated to, and how ludicrous amounts of money we're talking about here. We're talking about billions and like hundreds of millions, if not billions. The reason is very simple, because they have something that very few businesses have, and that is the users, like the traffic. That's where it all comes down to. Some companies know how to monetize this, such as Amazon. They have a very simple business model, which means that they can make a lot of money, like a traditional store type of thing. And they are taking in more traffic than most regular retail stores could ever, even though the stores themselves might be, they might have physical goods that are evaluated to some of these levels of pricing, right? That doesn't matter, because they have more users or they have more customers than pretty much any other store. The other part of it is that there's quite a lot of companies who are just surviving by investors and things of this nature, because they have the traffic, they have all of these people, they have this earning potential, this situation that allows them to maybe figure out a way to monetize this, but they don't have a physical good or something like that. So they survive by having investors just pool money into all of that potential. And this is why they are evaluated to the same sorts of sums. But it's whether or not this is really worth it, that's something I'm going to have to leave up to you. All I'm stating is that when it comes to software development, these outlandish sums are not based on the physical goods or the value of the parts that make up this website that is evaluated to all of this money. It is the earning potential of the product that is the thing that dictates how much it's evaluated to. Have a great day.